How's it going, everybody? We have a movie for you today. Psych, it's a video that just got out of control when we were recording and went really long. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the best tunes in the game to max. We're going to be doing this in the tier list format, but we want to be very straightforward when we say this is not a tier list of characters like this character is better than this character in this hierarchy. No, this is a list kind of ranking the characters who, when given the maximum investment, change their matches and change how that part of the game plays for you for the absolute best. Now, the first part of this video is going to be 30 minutes long. You might think that that sounds really long. There's another hour and 45-minute part to it where we were designing the first tier list. And if you want the backstory to that hour and 45-minute period, there's another hour, 30-minute part that I didn't include. That was when we first drafted all the best characters before ranking those best characters amongst each other. What I want to say here before we go is that there are some characters not on this list that are going to have you scratching your head. No one from Death Seed, no one from Rebirth, no one from Invaders, and there's other characters that didn't make this list. I go into that in the second half of this video after the initial 30 minutes. There's going to be timestamps. After the initial 30 minutes, I explain why those characters didn't make it, so you can go check out that information there. The raid characters, just to get this out the way, we just don't know if they're going to be viable in the next tier. There's always teams that are phased out. I've held Scotty hostage for the last 3 hours, so I just wanted to let him say hello. How's it going, Scotty? Did you have fun making this video?
It was so much fun. I ate multiple meals. I got dehydrated, had to rehydrate. It's definitely exactly how I wanted to spend my vacation.
Would you have done it again?
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yay! Okay, guys, enjoy the video. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, like I talked about in the opening, we're going to be talking about the best characters to max out and why. It's very important I break this down for you because I'm also going to include the hour and 45-minute conversation, deconstruction, explanations into the deeper thoughts here that me, Scotty, and Twitch chat had, which got a little unhinged, which is why we need to re-record this much more condensed version, okay? But that other part will be later if you want to watch it all. It's like a podcast format. I think it's probably a pretty interesting listen. The purpose of this tier list is the characters that give you the most value when you bring them up to level 95, gear tier 18, ISO 5. Put as much red stars on them, as much yellow stars on them as you can, as much T4s on them as you can, to make them work better in their matches. This is not a Dark Dimension 6 list. This is not a, these are the best characters in the game ranked in this order list. This is a, you put that investment on those characters, how it affects their performance and the performance of their team or their hybrid team or whatever the case may be in the matchups you use them. Okay? Is that a fair way to detail this, Mr. Scotty?
Yes.
Perfect. Keep that in mind, okay? And you should watch that hour 45-minute because me and Scotty got silly. We had a lot of disagreements on some characters, which we'll make reference to here. Okay. We're going to try and do this
We learned a lot about Dorky and his preferences, so definitely go watch it.
Okay. The S tier was very simple until we got halfway through. So Skrull, Apocalypse, bringing them up to gear tier 18, ISO 5, level 95, all that stuff. These characters just crush whatever matches they're in as long as they get to do an attack, which is also benefited for bringing them up to level 95 in max them out, right? So Skrull, Apocalypse, I don't think anyone's going to fight us on this one. Best characters. This is where it got a little contentious. We got the Black Cat. Not too much contention there. 132 speed with a bunch of bleeds, so that is greatly increased by what she does, plus the trauma stun, plus the damage from her ultimate. She is hugely impacted by the stats that you can apply on her. And that the reason I was so heavy talking about stats when I did that, because then we got to Robbie Reyes. Now, Scotty, why don't you tell me about your experience with Robbie Reyes and the difference you felt when you fully maxed this character?
Well, it's not so much the difference I felt with mine. It was facing other people's and crying.
Yeah, like
because he just wrecks. He wrecks, and like at gear tier 18, he wrecks even more. Just the bleeds everywhere. He's just going, and people are just dying. Apocalypse is disappearing. Crazy.
Yeah, like when a fully maxed out Robbie Reyes kills your Apocalypse before he gets a turn, you will know what rage means, okay? Which is why you want to do that to other people. You want to max out your Robbie Reyes. The reason it got controversial is because we both think Robbie Reyes goes ahead of Kang and ahead of Quicksilver, who we both kind of think are even. Like, Kang and Quicksilver, it could have went either way with the benefit they get from having those extra stats and what it means in their matchups. But make no mistake, having a big Kang is super duper important when you're trying to beat an enemy Super Skrull in Crucible, right? But if you're not facing Super Skrulls in Crucible, Kang doesn't need to be geared to 18. Is that a fair way to put this, Scotty?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Quicksilver, much of the same. Then we move down to the A tier. Now, this is going to be a little weird for some people because you haven't played with or played against these characters at their maximum build, which is why I think this list in this video is so interesting. A baby Juggernaut in War will do what you need it to do. You will still be opening up a lot of new counters for your Undying, but a big Juggernaut opens up the doors to defeat Super Skrull teams in War, which is very interesting. Now, Scotty, he hasn't experienced this either because this is just from my experience in the playtest, but a big Juggernaut is that important, which is why he makes it this high. Also, in Crucible, he doesn't get those extra charges, so he's unlikely to revive if he's dead in the first round of attacks in Crucible. So you're going to want him bigger for there if you hope to use him there. All right. Now I'm gonna let Scotty tell us about his experience with Tigra and why she is so high here. Take it away.
So my experience is in War with her on defense, and just me sitting there with nowhere, waiting for my Nova to get to go, and watching people just die around me.
Yeah,
she wrecks, and like I don't even think that was like a full 7 yellow. Like Tigra, and she was just running around scratching me. It was bad. Do not recommend. So I think especially because people are going to have her at lower stars, having her at gear tier 18 is going to be crazy.
Yeah, I agree. She's so stat reliant that the bigger you build her, the more she just demolishes. And the other side of that coin is Nova, and that's why we have Nova so high up here too. And okay, I know so many people are, well, of course we're bringing Nova, Dark Dimension 6, of course. We're just talking about the value of doing that for this kind of character. And so if Tigra and the new Avengers are demolishing you, literally the only answer for that in the War landscape is Nova and the Nowhere team, but the rest of the Nowhere team might as well already be dead when the match starts. It's really Nova v5. So the bigger you can make your Nova, the more likely you are to not struggle in that matchup if you're facing similar sized new Avenger teams. It's just crazy. And then Nova plug and play importance in Crucible. The bigger you have him, the more likely he is to land that stun, the damage from his ultimate, the damage from his basic, plus flipping buffs. It's all very, very important. So having a big Nova is great. Then we got Weaver. A lot of people fight between the Quicksilver and the Weaver as far as like Dark Dimension 6 value. I think it's fine to say Quicksilver does more in Dark Dimension. I don't think it's fair to say that Weaver is not worth your gear tier 18. So, Scotty, why don't you talk a little bit about Weaver and the benefits of having her bigger?
I think a lot of it is landing her stuff because she can be resisted.
Yeah.
Surviving because once her charges go away, she's going to get slapped all around.
Yeah.
I think she still has a good viability in War. Like a lot of us are using her on the Infestation team. Also in CC against things like Darkholds and stuff like that. So like having her big, I think is always going to be beneficial. And also she is a original character, so she's likely going to have good viability for something in the future.
Yeah.
So she just makes sense.
Yeah, I think they left the 3 Tangled Web members as a 3-piece, so it's easier for them to rework later, the same way they left the new Warriors as a 3-piece too. Then we had Kestrel. Look, I fought tooth and nail to get Kestrel where she is, okay? So if you are raging in the YouTube comments right now, just know I wanted to put Kestrel here, okay? But she's sitting here. She was here. I snuck her here when no one was looking. All right, so Kestrel is an amazing character when built super high. At gear tier 18, fully built out, make her a raider. Her pings can hit for 1.6 million damage. She's the heart and soul of the Pegasus team. The damage will carry you, having very low stars in the rest. We'll see if that translates to the next raid tier. But in War and Crucible, she's also just a demolisher of teams. So Kestrel had to make it up here. Then we have Red Hulk. Now, Red Hulk's position might alarm some people. Why don't you talk about... I would say he's fallen off a lot. You you had put him in A tier, which I thought was a little bit higher. So why don't you speak on Red Hulk a little bit?
I mean, he still is very viable for war. Yes, there's a lot of teams that countered them, and now we're getting them to finally use Gamma on offense, which is great. Having him big and not dying and hitting hard is a huge benefit, I think. So he's not S tier, but I still think he's an A tier character. Good for things like towers in the future as well. We use him in a lot of trials and scourges, so I think he is worth it, and also, like, many may take him to Dark Dimension. I know you didn't need to, and we're fine, but some will. I just think he's still an A tier character. He like charges, alts, trauma,
Yeah,
rewinds,
flips.
takes revives off. Like, just still a good character, even though Gamma has just fallen off as far as a defense team.
True. I would also add, like, when we think about power couples, we think Cloak and Dagger, we think Spider-Man 2099 with Weaver, we think Cersei and Icarus. I think eventually Red Hulk becomes a power couple with Apocalypse, since he's so fast and then gives speed bar to Apocalypse to do his devastating ult early. The difference with a character like Cersei and Red Hulk or 2099 and Red Hulk is Red Hulk's damage is huge. It's very big, at least for now. So having him bigger will help out a lot. And, of course, he needs to survive to do his ultimate. Without Braum or Abomination on the team, he loses so much health. So the Gear Tier 18 helps him there, too. And the ISO, of course. All right, moving on to the B tier. This is where it got really contentious for Twitch chat and me and Scotty. We got Dorm up here at B tier. He's fallen off a little bit. And there is concern about his damage viability in the future. But at least for right now, with his ultimate just trucking people and him needing to land those debuffs, we both felt it was still appropriate to have him ranked at least this high. In the future, maybe he's going to kind of take a back seat and be more mechanical like Doom is. Even then, though, we're going to have to look at giving him some nice boosts so that he actually lands those debuffs, especially that trauma and the stun. So we put him at the top of B tier. Then we put Morgan here. Now, I feel a certain way about Morgan, but Scotty, he spoke her up a little bit, so speak her up a little bit again for the people.
I mean, she still does a lot. Her as a striker, like her ISO attacks, drain, she's ability blocking, she's rewinding. Like, she's still a very viable character. It's just that we have lots of counters, and I think her at Gear Tier 18 is a lot different than at 17. And I think she's still going to be around, whether she's on her team or using her with other, Apocalypse teams.
Yeah.
Like, I just... B, I think, is a good place for her at this point.
All right. And that, he convinced me. He didn't point a gun to my head. She's there. She belongs there, I suppose. I don't know if Omega Red does, though. Omega Red is, like a lot of characters, he is his team. In war, if there's no Omega Red, there is no Weapon X. Weapon X is still a very viable war offense and war defense team. Plus Omega Red, he's great in Dark Dimension. He also flexes pretty good into Crucible. His downside is that 120 speed, but if he can get a turn, he's putting trauma, ability, luck, offense down out there. He's doing a buttload of drain, percentile damage, and if he reaches his turn 2, he buff flips everybody, another ability block, percentile damage, and a 10% turn meter rewind. So it felt appropriate to have him at least this high. The Gear Tier 18 definitely affects him. Now, Val is a character I fought for very hard for them to be here. Scotty has different thoughts. I'm gonna let Scotty talk about this, and then I'm gonna say, but I like them there anyway. So go ahead, Scotty. Tell us about your opinions on Val.
So great raid character. Won't have much use in CC going forward. Not really much use in war. Maybe something in tower. Wouldn't have them in B if it were up to me.
So I think that their 127 speed with ability block makes it viable enough for me. The damage, the health, I thought was okay, so I was able to get them there. We'll move on before Scotty makes me change it. Ronan, a lot like Tigra, greatly affects that match depending on his size. He can 100% yeet somebody off the planet if he reaches his turn. So we felt that the Gear Tier 18 was it made sense here, especially in the context that the legendary event, the first run of the next legendary event is coming soon, hopefully. And Ronan is going to be part of that team for nodes 5 and 10. Maybe it's going to be 2, 6, and 10 like it was last time. He's a big part of that team. And he's great in City. We fought a big new warriors in Crucible, and Ronan deleted somebody. He is also the character that gives them that 15% speed stat. So if you are going to be bringing some character like Tigra in, it's best to pair Ronan with them at least. So then you have 2 really big characters. So Ronan, we felt, made sense to make this list. Photon was bouncing up and down, but we ended up with her on B. You had some really good points about Photon and her part to play in the game right now. So why don't you walk us through that?
Well, I mean, it's just in my arena, obviously, now that I have Scroll, I'm not using her. In War, yeah, she's great on the team. In CC, she's great. I'm sure in Tower she'll be great too. I think she does benefit a lot from going to Gear Tier 18 because she does heal, she hits hard, blinds, all that stuff. It's just I don't get to use her as much as I like to because she's always on D for everything, whether it's CC or War. But I think she definitely does benefit from it. I just don't really get to use her as much anymore. She was great in Dark Dimension though. Yeah,
fair enough. I would say that the main benefit you get from bringing her to Gear Tier 18 is if you're using her with A-Force. Not if you're using her with Secret Defenders, because you're right. The Secret Defenders is the Robbie Reyes Black Cat show, right? So I agree with you on that part. Infinity War Thor, we had him here basically because we are shell-shocked from what the new Avengers do to us when they're that big. Plus his use in the Black Cat trial makes it very good. He is a stat machine. When he gets to do damage, boy, do you feel it. So having him at Gear Tier 18 only exemplifies that even more. You need him to survive, though, and against the new Avenger team, and it's hit and miss if anybody besides Nova is going to survive. So having him at Gear Tier 18 can kind of help cushion that a little bit. And if he gets even one ability out, it really helps Nova kind of carry the rest of the way. So we felt it appropriate to have him here, and just because he's the second most important Nowhere member, we thought it'd be great to have him up here. Moving on to C tier. Now, you can see Red in chat right now having a temper tantrum about where Miss Marvel Hardlight is. We did 2 polls. Again, if you watch that hour 45 minutes, we did 2 polls on Miss Marvel, okay? She is good to have big. She is a tank. She's an okay tank. Her job is to do a turn meter Ryan plus taunt, get beat up for 2 or 3 attacks, eat the Apocalypse in power basic, and that's her job. And she doesn't need to be Gear Tier 18 to do that. And that's in all matches. If you're not, so if you're using them on offense and you're not attacking Apocalypse, I almost think it doesn't matter if you even have her built at all besides having that T4 in her ultimate. Because Black Cat and Robbie Reyes basically annihilate any other competition before it matters, okay? In Tower, whenever we get to use them, I'm pretty sure those matches are going to be very quick as well. I just don't see a world where having her at Gear Tier 18 instead of Gear Tier 17 really makes or breaks the matches. Okay, if we have her too small, if you have her at low stars, maybe then it makes sense so that she survives that Apocalypse ultimate and then is alive to eat the Empowered Basic after that. But otherwise, I have a really hard time vouching for this character too high like that. She hard counters the second best tune in the game,
also,
says Red, but go ahead.
But she does that whether she's 17 or 18.
Yeah. But it's all a moot point, okay? Because she's a city character who's mutant, so you're going to bring her into Dark Dimension 6 anyway. So it doesn't matter that she's lower on this list, Red. You're going to bring her to Gear Tier 18, so it's okay. Everyone's okay. All right. Mockingbird. This one surprised me that you even entertained putting her on this list. Again, we're kind of shell-shocked from the new Avengers. And we're kind of simping hard for the new Avengers here, I suppose. But her damage is very, very strong. She does get 200% resistance from Coulson because she has that shield tag. And her heals are going to be really good. Now, she's going to be very useful in this first run of the new legendary character, whatever it's going to be. I imagine that heal is going to be very impactful there. But also, when you're using this team outside of War, all of a sudden that heal becomes even more important. So if you're using this team in Crucible, you're not going to have the same sort of oomph damage that you do in War. You're not going to get as many turns. She doesn't do a Terminator Rewind. So having her bigger to do a bigger heal and more damage in a mode like Crucible or Tower is going to really be really impactful as well. You're still comfortable having Mockingbird here?
Yeah, and it's not that I'm simping for her. I have like, what's the word for it? When you've been traumatized by something. I'm drawing a blank. Post-traumatic stress disorder from watching her wreck me.
Yeah,
in War.
Fair enough. All right, Icarus is a character I had to appeal to chat to get not just on this list, but to get put into C tier. Okay, I think that getting the 20% extra stats on Icarus via Gear Tier 18 and the 20% damage from whatever ISO you're gonna pick really helps him do his flips, get a double tap, or just destroy people with his special when they do blocks. Scotty felt very differently about this, but from War and Crucible and Scourges, wherever we get to use the Eternals, I think they are very important. I will concede to him, though, that Cersei is now a kit-based character. She is now Cloak and Dagger are kind of even. She's the worst power couple, I would say. She's there to remove buffs, maybe land a stun, and do a Terminator Rewind. If she doesn't land the stun, it's not the end of the world. I find for the most part, whenever I'm using Cersei's stun anyway, she's hitting into deflex and it gets blocked. So she's really just there for the Terminator Rewind, and so Icarus gets all of his stuff unlocked. But that's, so if you're wondering why Cersei is, she's not here. But let's move on to Doom. I'll let you take it away for Doom. I'm tired of talking.
So Doom is a hard one, just in the fact that it really depends on what you're using him for and what your roster is like. I have not wanted to Gear Tier 18 Doom because I'm always worried he's now not going to get pushed. And so even my Doom sometimes doesn't get pushed by Skrull in CC. So if I were to make him bigger, then that would become even more of an issue. So I think it really depends what you're using him for. He is great in Dark Dimension to take because he's half tech and mystic, so it's maybe a cheaper mystic option for you. But the issue is sometimes you're actually relying on him getting pushed, and if you make him too big, that doesn't happen. Now there may be cases where you're finding he's dying, then yes, bringing him to Gear Tier 18 is beneficial, but he's not always bigger is better, I guess. So it does depend. So that's why he's at C. Like obviously he does have a great mechanic with, you know, letting someone go. Like if you have Quicksilver, get it. Like Quicksilver's just gonna keep going and wreck people. But the issue is sometimes getting him to be pushed.
Yes, I agree. And I wouldn't warn people about bringing him too high, because my 6 red star Gear Tier 18 Doom that I just did today probably isn't going to get pushed by Doom anymore, or by Super Skrull anymore. So I'm going to have to figure something out for that, which is, it's kind of hard to figure out some alternative to Skrull counters. Moving on, Spider-Woman. Probably should be S tier, but I got argued down by chat and by other people that Spider-Woman should be lower on this list. We did 3 polls.
Off the list.
We did 3 polls, and every single time she was voted in to stay, okay? So Spider-Woman is staying. If you have this character at Gear Tier 18, you will notice a tremendous difference in the performance of your A-Force team in their counters. The one thing I will give up on Spider-Woman is if you are not facing Giant Young Avengers, you're not facing Giant Heroes for Hire, you're not facing Giant Asgardians, Giant Darkhold, whatever the case may be, then you won't need a Giant Spider-Woman. But as soon as you're trying to use your Photon Force against a Darkhold, having your Spider-Woman bigger to land the ability block, to actually land the ability block on Morgan, land the offense down, land her defense down, then having her big is so nice. And if you're facing off against Rebirth and Crucible, she has an unblockable ability block turn 1 that is followed by so much damage. So I really do ride or die with Spider-Woman, and I know Pathfinder does as well. So shout out to Spider-Woman. Okay, moving on. Gambit. He's another character we had to have a couple of polls on. We feel kind of iffy about Gambit, don't we?
Well, a lot of people are like, well, if Gambit's there, why isn't Rogue there? And well, because Rogue at gear tier 18 doesn't really do anything new, but Gambit, he's pinging you, he's, putting heal blocks. Like, there is a lot that he can do in rec efficiency for CC. I don't think it really adds much to him for war, but I think it's just more in that CC aspect, which may change going forward. But he was a little bit higher than he got voted down.
Yeah, he was a little higher. He got voted down, which is fine. Nick Fury. Now, Nick Fury, very, very kit-based character, so it's awkward to put him this high up. Where he becomes less kit-based is that, you want him to survive to reach his second turn, so he can either spread buffs or then summon. He does energy batteries, so the longer he lives to reach his basic, the better. But also, his summons do get affected by him being larger. And because he's a great Dark Dimension character because of his kit, and that will carry over into his plug-and-play value in other modes down the line. So he did get the nod here, and yeah, those minions, they smash. So he had to kind of be on this list. Then we have 2099. So 2099, I fought to get on this list. I actually wanted him in like C or B tier. Because in my mind, if 2099 doesn't land his defense down and his slow, it's a huge hindrance to his team, especially that slow, because it changes how the matches actually play out. It really changes how things go. The argument is that he's basically the Cersei Icarus combo. He is the Cersei of that Weaver 2099 combo. I get it. I've also seen 2099s smash really hard. But Scotty, why don't you give the countervailing opinion, just in case somebody sees this and they just want to disagree.
I don't know if he will do anything extra. I mean, I unfortunately have him at gear tier 18 because I did him for Dark Dimension. I don't find that he does anything more for me now, except I do sometimes worry that he's going to go on the Doom ride over Weaver, and that might be an issue for some people depending on what your reds versus yellow situation is for him versus Weaver. To factor that in. Like, he is on my infestation killing team, and I don't think he does anything special at 18 versus 17. If I had not taken him to Dark Dimension, I wouldn't even be considering putting him at gear tier 18. And like, I cannot wait for the day that I gear tier 18 Icarus, because I know Dorky's gonna be like, hey,
he did it.
I don't think it's ever gonna happen. I really don't, but 2099 would have been awesome. One of those ones they said it never would have happened for, so we shall see.
So what I would say is 29 is kind of like Spider-Woman. You do it for the focus. So if you're using them against Darkhold, then you like that focus, but if not, I get where you're coming from, 100%. Nakia. Nakia kind of came out to us out of nowhere. We're like, oh, Nakia, like, if you're using them in war, her pings make the team live or die. So she kind of just came onto this list just because of brunt damage, right? Nothing special about it. Yeah. Gamora.
Yeah, like, she is good on her team, and I think she's in a trial or Scourge as well, so it would be good for that. I think in tower mode, helpful. Some use them in CC as a defense team to ruin efficiency or to take out things like Infinity Watches, so having a big one would be more helpful. It's just, of the team, I think she makes the most sense if you were going to do anyone.
True. Yeah. Yeah, I agreed. Gamora, we didn't have more Infinity Watch members on here. By the way, I did a conversation in the part of the hour 45-minute video that went way too long about why characters didn't make this list. The Infinity Watch members didn't make this list because you would need to do all of them to ruin efficiency. But Gamora, as the exception to that, when she reaches her second turn, if you have her gear to 18 and she gets a reset, then all of a sudden you have two characters dead because her basic follow-up is going to kill somebody too. Which is why she made this list, basically to ruin efficiency, but it also helps you in war offense, right? When you're using this team, if you can get a reset and then chunk somebody down, especially against the new big black orders, it could be very helpful. Firestar. This is another character I had to fight for. I'm big on CC. Scotty's not, and I know I wasn't for the last 3 weeks because of Super Scroll, but I have Super Scroll now, so I'm back big on CC. Firestar's damage. I would argue that Firestar does the most damage on the team, but you just don't experience it because she's not hitting to defense down like everybody else is, right? Unless Gwenpool has put defense down on everybody, in which case you will see her damage is bananas. But her damage is absolutely insane. The bleeds, it really helps kind of impact that. And if you do have a Gear Tier 18 Firestar and she gets a kill, all of a sudden your dagger might have energy to ult turn 1. And that could be the difference between a 5-turn efficiency fight and a 10-turn efficiency fight. So I fought for her to be on this list. Cosmo.
So I'm just because I took her to Dark Dimension.
Okay.
Did you notice a difference in my new warriors using them in CC when she was 17 versus 18?
I forget which teams I.
You didn't notice, did you?
Well, I wasn't like everything got one shot.
Difference.
There's a difference. And there'll be a difference in the future. It'll help future-proof the team a little bit more. I'm telling you. Oh no, we're lagging. Okay, let's wrap this up. Cosmo is because Scotty's a veterinarian, and we just wanted to include the only dog that's on the list. No, same reason as Infinity Warthor, just to a lesser extent. And then Hela, we're just not sure if Hela should be on this list or not. We want her to have more health so she doesn't die. And we're going to reevaluate her value in that Undying team once we get to play with Zombie Juggernaut in the live game more. Are we good with that?
Yeah.
We're good with that.
Sorry. Blue was like, Cosmo, I will be Cosmos.
There you go. Hey, Blue. All right, cool. So, guys, there's going to follow this. It's going to be an hour and a half of me and Scotty bickering and battering back and forth. And yeah, there's lots of more information. So go check that out if you want. There was timestamps to get there. So maybe... I'm just going to stop talking now. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
As promised, here we are, and we're going to be going over the character tier list, like the best of the best characters you should max out. And then we're going to rank those characters. Before we do that, we're going to quickly go over the characters that didn't make this list and why. Very quickly, none of the Gamma members besides Red Hulk made this list, pretty much because there's so many counters for them in-game now. And although they're already ISO 5, the Gear Tier 18 bio on them is kind of a stretch. Is that a fair summation to you, Mr. Scotty?
Weak.
Same thing with the Infinity Watch. Gamora made the list because she can surprisingly just one-shot somebody that would really screw over your efficiency in Crucible. But the rest of the team, like, you could screw over more efficiency if they're all Gear Tier 18, but then you really need all of them to be Gear Tier 18. So they didn't make the list either. The Darkhold members, Morgan made the list. So it's basically the same thing. Morgan made the list. None of the other Darkhold members did. No one from AIM made it. None of the symbiotes made it until we can see what the future is for the symbiotes with the symbiote server coming. And so Archangel. Let's talk about Archangel, Invaders, and Rebirth. None of those characters made the list with the exception of Fury. Fury is special because of plug and play. None of those characters made the list because in the past... raid teams that are at least one raid tier old already, they seem to get just super nuked when it comes to the following raid. So we're thinking Incursion Raid 2 is coming soon because they have now sold us a solution to every single section. So the next raid's got to be coming, right, Scotty?
Yeah.
Do you think anyone besides Fury kind of gets a little bit of a look here? Like Archangel plug and play? So... it's weird for me because I think we might actually eventually see 4 Horsemen with Apocalypse. But in the 4 Horsemen plus Apocalypse, like, Archangel's the worst out of the Horsemen, right?
Like, in raids?
No. If we are ever looking at a full 4 Horsemen Apocalypse team, if we wanted to sub out one character, it wouldn't be Rogue because the opening taunt is nice. It wouldn't be Red Hulk because he gives the speed to Apocalypse. It wouldn't be Morgan because she gives the resistance. It would be Archangel if we ever wanted to sub out one of them for someone like Kang or something like that. It's a big hypothetical world, but my point is him, if he's not super useful in raids as a plug and play character, he's the worst Horseman.
Agreed.
Okay. Who else should we mention? We actually do have some Black Order members on there. We'll talk about that. We didn't throw anybody from Pegasus up there. Actually, no, we have 2 Pegasus. We didn't throw any of the newer people from Pegasus up there because we're not sure what's going to be needed from them when it comes to the next raid tier. Maybe they'll be okay at low. Maybe we need to take them super high. We just know that in the current raid tier, there's no need to take them to Gear Tier 18. Sinister 6, I know I have 2 Doc Ock on here. Put your conspiracy theory caps down. It was just a mistake. There is a rumor that the Sinister Six is going to be getting the next legendary character, and thus maybe a bunch of them are going to be getting reworked. But until that information is like set in stone, we couldn't include any Sinister Six members. Is that fair?
Yeah. Sorry, it just started lagging on Discord again.
Oh no. Is the Twitch chat lagging too, guys? We're having a hard time whenever I hit record. I'll continue on, and if the lag is bad, then the lag is bad. Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom didn't make the list. He's a very influential character for sure, but Doctor Doom didn't make this list simply because if he's too big, then maybe you can't push him, or maybe you don't get him pushed when you want him pushed, and then you're screwed. So that'll screw that up. Emma didn't make the list because Emma is a kit-based character, and so why would you bring her up and waste all your mutant gear on that? Gwenpool didn't make the list, but Firestar did, because Gwenpool we just didn't feel has the same sort of oomph that Firestar gives. We talked about the rest of these characters. We talked about all this. We didn't put any Underworld members on there because that could cause a sticky situation in the Darkhold versus Underworld matchup where you push the Morning Le Fay too quickly. And because the teams that they're used against war, teams you use them with against war, the teams that you make these guys fight against in war, they're not built super big. My brain just died. I'm sorry. All right, let's continue on. Korg didn't make this list because he could be revived anyway. Teen Loki and Loki didn't make this list because it's just kind of a wait and see. We need to wait and see if they're needed to be that big for the next raid tier. We suspect Bifrost is going to be perfectly fine next raid tier, but maybe we need to put a little bit more into them. We continue on. Magneto didn't make this list for the same reason Archangel didn't. We're worried about him as a raid character. Yes, he'd be great to have big against your enemy Sylvies right now, but that season is about to end. None of these characters, we talked about all the raid characters already. We talked about Infinity Watch mostly. Rogue, same kind of thing. Like, she's just not needed to be that big to do what she does. And in Crucible, her team is already starting to fall off anyway. Sabretooth and the Weapon X team, we actually did have a good conversation about them. We see them having a lot of value still. Unlike the Underworld team, their strength is actually needed in their matchups. But we didn't feel the need to include Sabretooth, Silver Samurai, or Wolverine. Captain Sam is a bit too slow to be competitive with him given the speed. Cersei, kind of zoned out. We're going to talk a little bit about Icarus. Shuri, she's an okay Dark Dimension character, but because Black Cat was skill and Nova was bio, we got to suspect the next character is either going to be Tech, Mutant, or Mystic, and because the rumor is Green Goblin, we default to Tech. So maybe we don't want to waste it on Shuri yet, and obviously having extra gear on her, absolutely useless on her team. It's absolutely useless on her team to put gear there. Silver Surfer, sadly, just not a great character anymore. He's been very crept out. Big Time Spider-Man might be the most controversial one that didn't make the list. He's great in raids. Sorry, he was okay in raids. That's going to be phased out now with the arrival of Pegasus. He was great in Arena to shut down the Hard Light. He still is, but you don't need him big to do that. He's not there for damage. He's there to put ISOs out. He's there to put Disrupt. He's okay in Dark Dimension 6, though I would argue that if we are getting a tech patch soon, then maybe you don't want to use your tech gear there. I don't think there's any size you can build him to in War that's going to make him hold. So it's kind of a question mark there, but if you're going to bring him to Dark Dimension 6, then I see no point in not putting ISO 5 on him as well if you're swimming in ISO 5. So he might make your list just by default if you're bringing him. Squirrel Girl, if she had more plug and play potential, she would definitely get it. Startle Annihilation didn't make it because no matter how big you build him, he's just going to die to the first person that attacks him. Sylvie didn't make this list because the Cosmic Crucible season is ending soon, and thus she's going to lose a lot of value. Thing didn't make it, but a lot of new Avengers did. We'll talk about that. And if we continue on, no one else is very interesting. We already talked about Darkhold a little bit. Zombie Iron Man. Zombie Iron Man didn't make it because he is a very kit-based character. The bigger you have him, the more damage he does, the more value he has for sure, but you just don't need it. And he has a brother on his team that's much more important to have built up. Scotty, did I capture our thoughts well enough? Okay.
Perfect.
Right.
Good. Amazing.
Yeah, because we did do an hour stream where we talked about this, and then the footage was just like us in still images, getting all wonky with it. So if you want to hear the whole conversation that I just tried to summarize, you can check out the VOD on Twitch. And that led us to what you see right here, this tier list. Now, these, in our opinion, are the very, very best characters that bringing to max level, we're talking level 95, Gear Tier 18, ISO 5, Red Stars, all that. These are the characters that kind of interest us the most in building up for their use in various modes on their team, all that stuff. We're now going to rank them, and we'll talk about a little bit each time. Shall we start off super easy? Super Skrull?
Yeah.
Best of the best?
I mean, he's a pretty obvious choice for everything.
All right. We'll put him rank 1, S tier. Woo! Nobody saw that coming. Woohoo! Let's get a little. Actually, no. Let's continue that on. Black Cat. Where do you think Black Cat's going to go here?
She's high too, I think. Like, she fucks.
She does. Look, turn 1 stun with trauma in all modes, and she's what, 132 speed or 131? She's crazy, crazy valuable. And now let's get a little contentious with it. Apocalypse. He's S tier as well, of course. But is Apocalypse better or worse than Black Cat as far as investment goes?
I mean, she neutralizes him, so...
Well, I would say Hard Light neutralizes him. Right?
Yeah, she rewinds his ass, she can trauma his ass, she can ability block his ass.
She can't ability block, but yeah, she could stun him with the trauma. That's a good point. I think Apocalypse as a standalone character is better than Black Cat. With his ultimate being percentile damage, I also see him standing the test of time. I mean, this is kind of a stupid conversation to have anyway. You're going to max out both of these characters because you're going to need them both for Dark Dimension 6. And you should ISO 5 both of them because they're both awesome characters. So, I don't know. I'll leave them tied. Instead of fighting with Scotty, we'll leave them tied. You're not... Scotty, look away for a second. What's that behind you? What is your dog doing? What? Oh my god, what is your dog doing? What is... Oh my god, look at her.
Sleeping.
She's definitely not sleeping. She's right there.
Oh, hellos.
All right, so moving on. What about Zombie Juggernaut? How do we feel about Zombie Juggernaut? We don't really know yet, right? But he like from the testing, and I got to do a lot of testing with him. Amazing character. What do you think?
I haven't got to play with him, so I don't have an opinion on it.
So I guess I will make the tyrannical decision then. Great character.
Yeah.
Like Zombie Iron Man, a lot of his power is in his kit, though. The bigger you have him, the more damage he'll do, the more likely he is to survive. But he is in no way, shape, or form on the same level as Skrull, Apocalypse, and Black Cat. So I'm going to go ahead and slot him into the A tier, but make no mistake, I will be bringing this character to Gear Tier 18 ISO 5. And as many stars and dark promotion credits as I can shove into him, I will be doing that. Okay, Val. Val, again, look, absolutely no-brainer character. She is the focal point of her team in raids. Other raid teams are more balanced. She is the team. She's also Dark Dimension, no-brainer. You think that puts her up in the S tier or just super high in the A tier?
Don't know, like outside of raids.
Yeah, like in War and Crucible, when this season is done, it's going to be really rough to find any kind of use for her.
Agreed.
All right, so with that said,
B
tier, I'm actually comfortable with that too. I'm pretty comfortable with that too, to be honest with you, because it's just for raids. Tigra, I think where me and you are going to place Tigra is going to shock some people, because we've seen what Tigra's like when she's max build, both in Crucible and in War, and with this coming legendary event coming, her value is actually going to be really good. Like, would you consider Tigra to be the most influential new Avenger character?
I mean, she hits so hard, and she tanks, like, she's very good. I don't know, I just watch them mess me up on defense, so it's hard to know who's doing who the whole time. I just sit there and I'm waiting for my Nova to move.
Yeah. It's almost like because she gets so much speed stat from Ronin in War and in Crucible, she at least gets 15%, and she has speed up in Spawn in War. She's getting 2 turns before you get 1 because of the Mockingbird Rewind. And if you faced a very big new Avengers, this is going to be a very niche pick for people, but if you have a giant Tigress, star level wise, I think she's at least A tier. I think she's way more influential than Val in those 2 modes and the coming Legendary event. Do you think that's fair?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put her here for now, and we'll reassess the actual tier positioning when we get there. Okay, Thanos. The Black Order rework was very kind to Thanos and Kull. We got our butts kicked by them in Crucible Stage 6. We kind of underestimated them. In War, they're just kind of okay. I'm comfortable with leaving Thanos in the D tier. What do you think? Yeah?
Yeah.
What's your experience with Thanos so far? Both
Like
facing
in
and
War?
using him. Yeah, like when you use him and when you fought against him.
I mean, I've found him and Call very hard to get around, unless I'm using like War Dogs.
Yeah.
I even tried A-Force against them, and it didn't feel great. It was fine in the end, but I was a little bit worried if I had been punching up a bunch, it would have really effed me.
Yeah, the A-Force team takes a long time. You're kind of safe with Jessica Jones just consistently flipping everything. And the heal on turn that the A-Force gets now kind of protects them too. But yeah, it doesn't feel great. All right, Thor Infinity War. In that matchup you were just talking about, the new Avengers, if Thor gets a turn, then you just win. But he needs to get a turn. And if he doesn't, then it becomes Nova versus 5, and that could be really tough. Where would you rank Thor Infinity War here? Also, I guess it's really good for the Black Cat event as well.
B?
B tier. I'm comfortable with that. Great in War, good in the Scourge, awful in Crucible. An okay pick for Dark Dimension. Like, he's that 5th Dark Dimension pick in the Cosmic section that you immediately replace with Skrull, and they never really get to do anything, but he's definitely a B tier. Spider-Woman. Okay, I have a very strong bias with Spider-Woman. 128 speed, unavoidable, unblockable, ability block plus offense down, turn 1. And the 128 speed makes her very interesting to go before a character like Weaver, to go before a character like Omega Red, to go before a character, who else is 127 that's interesting? Morgan Le Fay, Hela. There's a lot that she just kind of steps in and ruins the day. I have a really fond place for her. I brought her into Dark Dimension myself. She was very good. The defense down is very nice. The A-Force team, she is annihilating teams before they get a turn, but depending on your punch up or punch down, she may be doing that just like gear tier 17 ISO 4 anyway. I'll leave this one to you because I'm definitely too biased in Spider-Woman usage here. So where do you think she should land?
B.
B tier. Okay. Scotty did that because he's nice to me.
She's got the boobies.
Got the boobies. Spider Weaver, at one time considered the very, very best character in the game, man. This game's power creep has definitely taken a steep incline. Where do you think Spider Weaver is coming now with that very, very unique charge mechanic, the stun with trauma? 127 speed is good. Ultimate's really good, and perma kills everywhere. Where do you think Spider Weaver's dropping?
I hate to say it, but I think she's B.
You think B tier? Okay. I would. Okay, but like B plus tier, right?
I mean, she is really good for. Well, let's say like A. Let's put her A. She's really good for infestation. It's just like in CC, like they kind of antied her with New Warriors, but she's still good on offense. Don't do anything with her in arena. Decent in trials. Probably will be good in tower.
That's true. Yeah, we do got to start thinking about the new satellite tower that they were talking about. Who knows when it's going to come, but they mentioned that it's going to be very important. So we got to keep an eye out on making sure we have the right teams or characters built for that. I think this is a good spot for her. I do think that in Crucible, she's not on her way out by any means, but she's definitely getting hurt by like Masters of Evil coming in. Like you said, the New Warriors coming in. The room rules, they tend to really hard counter her with that. Bifrost crushed her. Skrull crushes her. There's lots of things that happen that could really mess with Weaver in here. So I'm comfortable with her at A tier for sure. 2099. I had to fight you to put 2099 up here. So, where do you want to put 2099? Since I aggressively made you allow me.
E F G
All right.
J K.
I'll put him on the other side of Thanos to make you happy. All right, Shang-Chi. I don't like Shang-Chi. I really don't. I think his speed is super crept out. His damage is crept out even if he's hitting into a crazy amount of buffs. The argument is that on war defense, a super big Shang-Chi can catch people out. But that's only true so long as people are bringing in the old Heroes for Hire counters instead of the new Heroes for Hire counters. Like, the second you bring in A-Force into a Heroes for Hire, it's over, right? So,
Yeah. I'd like D, like
D tier? I think that's fair.
like after 2099 probably.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Yeah, get over there.
Get over there. Get over here. All right, Ronan, speaking of get over here, he does look like Scorpion. Ronan, I think he's a step down from Tigra's importance because Tigra's blades are just insane. But a big Ronan will fuck you up. His first attack, it just crushes your spirit. Where do you think he goes? You've seen his value in war. I'll tell you in Crucible, a giant Ronin, I believe one-shot my my Apocalypse because he had a vulnerable and it just crushed him all the way down. So what are you thinking for Ronin?
B
tier. I'm good with that. I think I put him over Spider-Woman though. I think I put him over Thor Infinity War 2. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Rescue. Rescue's interesting because we were talking about this earlier. The 4-piece team right now can work in raids, but if Rescue dies, it's over. Because when someone else dies, she gets energy, she revives them, she's healing, she's giving offense up. She's doing a bunch of interesting things. She's also cheap in Dark Dimension 6. This team is simply unusable in War and for now in Crucible. Because by the time Ironheart comes out, there'll be like a week where they get to be used. And Bifrost, by the way, will still just slap them down. She's interesting in that sense, but because, again, it's just like raids, I feel very similar to her the way I do about Val, except Val is the one-person team. So you got to put less value into the Rescue. Where do you think Rescue's going?
I would put her D. Like, I don't think... Like, I only said it just as the 4-piece right now. Like, I don't know... Like you said, once I have a 5-piece, I won't care how big she is, but... So, D.
All right, Papa Wood is asking, Ronin over Shang-Chi, really? This chart is gauged on standalone viability, right? Not on the... It's their impact. It's their impact in the game, where they are on their team, or standalone, or all of that. So if you wanted to gauge Shang-Chi on his team, then his team is garbage at this point. There's so many different counters to the Heroes for Hire. So those Shang-Chi can catch people if they're using an old counter, if they're trying to Dark Hunters it, if they're trying to... I mean, even Weapon X crushes it under the right circumstances, right? And he just got ads. Sorry, Papa Wood, you're going to have to watch the video to get the answer. I'm very confident with leaving Shang-Chi down there, in my opinion. Red Hulk. He's good. Don't get me wrong, he's good. He's got 133 speed, and he activates Apocalypse to go faster the same way 2099 activates Weaver to go faster. He does do good damage, and his battlefield effect, his ultimate, is obviously flipping everything trauma. Amazing character. Problem with him is he is super squishy without his full team, right? So the plug and play value isn't quite there, though the Gamma team being pulled to offense is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to have a big Red Hulk. I don't think he's S tier, but I think he's like pinnacle A tier. What do you think?
I agree with A.
Pinnacle A tier? I would because he's offense, I would kind of put him like here. What do you think about that?
Sure.
Okay. Oh. Quicksilver. Boy, I love Quicksilver. Quicksilver is amazing. And the 2-turn gimmick with his very impactful abilities, both kit-wise, taking off charges, doing a rewind, bunch of debuffs, putting Disrupt out there. He was very easy to get yellow stars on. Of course, the dark promo side is a little bit uglier animal, but it's worth it to have red stars on him. Where are you landing on Quicksilver?
I would put him A.
You put him
He's
A?
great. Yeah.
I put him S. I put him S. He's that impactful for me. Where on A do you put him? Before I try and fight you to put him S tier, where on A does he go?
I mean, I would have put him at the front of A, but I guess the end of S would work too.
I'm good with the front of A. The reason he does way better than Zombie Juggernaut and Red Hulk, in my opinion, is because of his use in Crucible. He's great in War. He's really good in Crucible. Zombie Juggernaut definitely pulls his team way more together in War and adds a bunch of different factors to that. But because of the Crucible use, and obviously also the Black Cat trial event, I think Quicksilver is just amazing there. Photon. You had a very interesting opinion on Photon. Very different from me. So let people hear what you think about Photon.
Well, I mean, she's no longer used in Arena.
Mm-hmm. If you have Scroll.
If you have Scroll. In War, I'm finding her underwhelming, though of course I have been made to put her on defense a lot of the time, so I don't get to use her very often. You had the feeling of using her with A-Force is actually more helpful, which I guess makes sense, but I don't know gear tier 18.
She is a cheap option.
She's not good.
Right?
Yeah, but this wasn't just for DD6 though.
No.
If you want to have a DD6 rank, then we're gonna have a different conversation.
No, I mean everywhere. So here's another thing that I would add a feather to her cap. She's also 128 speed, and she does an unavoidable, unblockable blind. So she's kind of like Spider-Woman, but not quite as good. And if you do get to use her with A-Force, then that really pulls the team together and kind of unlocks them to take on the Darkhold, the regular Gammas, the stuff like that. But I completely get what you're saying.
Right next to Spider-Woman, right next to her, like little buddies.
You're gonna let me do that? I was gonna accept it if you said C for her.
Oh no, I would put her B.
Okay,
I think she's a decent B.
Omega Red. All right, so lots to digest with Omega Red. Here's the thing: Omega Red on his team in War, phenomenal. Crucible, he suffers from the same thing Shang-Chi does with 120 speed. Great in Dark Dimension. In Tower, he will suffer from that speed issue. In the Scourge events, he was an amazing villain character, but we've gotten so many good villain characters lately. He does Health Steal, Turn Meter Rewind, Ability Blocks, Trauma on his special. He gets defense up on Spawn. I have a hard time placing Omega Red. So I have a very fond place for Omega Red right now, mostly because I just used him in Dark Dimension 6 Legendary. And without him, I don't know how it would have went. It would have been really bad. What do you feel about Omega Red? Where do you think he gets placed here?
I think he's in B as well. Like he still has a lot of great use, even in CC. Like his drain is just like I think it won a CC for you last week.
Yeah, he soloed. He one-shot the Skrull. Well, he didn't one-shot the Skrull. He killed the Skrull when I didn't think he would because of the percentage damage on his basic attack, his ISO attack. Okay, where does he go in B tier, I guess is the next question. I kind of... this might be controversial. I kind of think he goes like right here. In between Ronin and Infinity War Thor. What do you think? Yeah, you have a different thought. You got to tell me your thoughts. We're doing this together. Don't hold back.
I don't know. I'd probably put him after Photon.
Okay. That's a tough one for me to swallow.
Because it's just all him by himself. Weapon X is just, it's good, but it's not taking out Darkholds and Gammas.
That's true. That's true. And the 120 speed is really rough pill to swallow. Okay. That makes me revisit Thor Infinity War too, though. Should Thor Infinity War also be here? Or does he go here simply because if he gets the chance to do anything against the new Avengers team, it's worth it?
I would leave Thor where he was.
Okay. Kestrel. I think Kestrel's S tier again. What do you think?
I don't know. You have like a big heart on for her right now. Like I would put her B as well. Like she's good in raids, but like what is she really doing in war or CC?
She's doing 1.6 million pings in War and CC. What do you mean, what is she doing in War and CC right now? She's demolished me. She has an anti-summon thing that nobody else in the game has. She has an unblockable special that's putting defense 2 turns of defense down and giving herself... What do you mean? There's no shot I'm putting her B tier. No shot. You have to give me A tier.
Gear tier 18. Like
yes.
She's already ISO 5 regardless for APOC. But
yes.
Am I making her... Like, if I hadn't done it for Dark Dimension, I don't know if I'd be thinking about doing it right now.
If you had her at Gear Tier 17 ISO 5, and you didn't do her for Dark Dimension, and then you saw my stream where she one-shots Morgan Le Fay with a ping, a 1.6 million ping, you wouldn't be like, oh, maybe I should Gear Tier 18 her?
See, I'm not debating, like, that I'm using her. It's just, is she... doing something at Gear Tier 18 that she's not doing at Gear Tier 17.
1.6 million damage. What is she doing? She's all damage. You think?
I just feel like I don't get to use her in War very much. So like it's and like in CC, yes, she gets used against a user to Darkhold sometimes and things like that. But like, I don't know. I just like with the new Avengers, Tigra even on defense in CC Bucks in War. I don't know. Especially a big one. Like I just see her at a difference between 17 and 18. But Kestrel, I guess I don't get to see that as much in War. And I don't know if it will matter in raids for people on resources. That's all my thoughts.
Are you going to meet me in the middle? Bottom of A tier?
Sure. Great. A.
This hurts me to put her bottom of A tier, but fine. Fine. Nova... He's the Val of his team, but in War, right? Without him, his team doesn't exist. Same with the Black Cat trial. He's great in Crucible. He's a 126 character with a turn 1 stun, though it doesn't have trauma outside of War. Where are we gonna put him? It's okay. So he's got better plug and play potential than a character like Val. He's the heart and soul of his team in War, and he's used in a trial. And in Tower, he'll have a turn 1 stun. So where do we put him?
A.
A tier. I swear to God, Scotty, if you make me put him over Kestrel, where in A do you want him?
Between Weaver and Tigra.
I'll allow it.
No?
No, I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Okay. I really like Nova. The higher you can get him, and I know 5 red stars is where people should stop, but if you see a 6 or 7 red star Nova, you better watch out, because that damage is going to wreck you. Just like if you see a Gear Tier 18 Kestrel. Okay, anyway, moving on. So we got Nico Manura, who I threw up here, but now that we're talking about this, I kind of want to just immediately kick her off.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now that we're looking at these breed of character, I kind of just want to kick her off. Here, let's go through this. What does she do that's very unique? She's 128 speed, so fast. She flips defense up and deflex in War. It's unblockable in War, but it can be blocked in a mode like Crucible. But that defense flip really fast is nice. Also, high cap. I see you. I'm reading chat. If you say something interesting, then I'll pay attention to you. How about that? So Nico, where would Nico go? If she makes this list, it has to be D tier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably the bottom. Like I'm telling, maybe I'm just too biased to A4s, but I love my A4s team. I love how fast they are. I like the mechanics that they do on their turn 1. She is Mystic, so it puts her really low. We'll leave her there, and people can get mad at me in the comment section for being too biased to A4s, but they're just such a good team. All right, Nick Fury. You convinced me to bring Nick Fury into Dark Dimension 6, basically, and I gotta say, it was worth it. He was so influential. It really helped me hit Sim on the raid button. He's gonna be great plug and play basically forever with the speed bar he gets on his spawn now, plus the speed he can then give his team speed or summon in 3 pre-taunting tanks. So very, very cool character. Where do you think Nick Fury goes? I'm just gonna let you take the reins on this one.
I mean, I love Nick, but I think he would be in D as well. Like, the big thing for me is like if the next raid tier is going to be a challenge, until we get a new team, I think him and his minions are the most helpful. That being said, there may be Kestrels on that node, and that completely gets wiped out. So that's like as well.
Yeah.
He has a lot of plug and play in War. He's useful in CC. I think he'll be useful for tower modes. But I would put him in D.
All right, cool. We'll leave him in D. We will reorganize D when we're done here. Nakia. Now, Nakia kind of surprised both of us. We started, we're like, oh, yeah, like it would be amazing to have a giant Nakia for War because she really is the character that brings that team to the promised land when it comes to doing giant punch-ups and stuff like that. And she's raw damage with her pings, right? So what are we thinking for Nakia?
D.
I think so too. Morgan Le Fay. I'm gonna get flack for this. I think she's being crept out very quickly, but she is the character that I believe is the one that gives the resistance. So she's always gonna have that really fickle RNG. Her abilities are great. At 120 speed, though, she can have a hard time getting to them if she's able to be controlled. And with characters coming out like Spider-Woman with 100% focus on the special, Nova with a bunch of focus, Kestra with a bunch of focus, and yeah, there's definitely ways to control her now. Any sort of Mystic character buffs her. I get that she's good. I think her team is falling off. She might become a plug-and-play character. I wonder about her viability there when it comes to speed. What do you think is going on with Morgan Le Fay? And health-based damage. She does do a lot. Yeah. What do you think for Morgan Le Fay?
Like, she still is a strong CC defense. She still is not going anywhere on War defense. Yes, there's lots of teams that counter her, but there are a lot of teams that don't.
Right.
She is going to be very useful for any upcoming tower mode. She's been useful in multiple trials and scourges. I would put her B, I think.
I'm comfortable with that. Where along the B? Because she's definitely better than Omega Red. Right?
Yes. Like, I feel like she's better than a lot of these people.
Okay. I would be comfortable bringing her right up next to Val, but I still think Val outdoes her. What do you think? You have a hard time even saying Val's better than her. Interesting. So,
well, I mean, Val is great in raids and great in their CC room, but I would put MLF above Val, I think.
So, let me say this: she's 127 speed with an ability block. So, sorry, they are 127 speed with an ability block. So they can get they can get a quick ability block plus expose out in a mode like Tower, and if they reach their ultimate, game over, right? Where I guess if Morgan Le Fay reaches her special, depending on the rest of her teammates, it's kind of game over too. Okay, I'm good with it. I'm good with it. Mockingbird. We both kind of got super hard about the new Avengers while we were doing this list and how just crazy powerful they are.
Whoa.
What? What? Her term
maybe you did. I don't swing that way.
You just well, there was also Ronan in there, and we talked about Thing.
I would put her next to Ronan, I think.
Really? I was gonna say she might be the first C character. Myself.
Really?
Yeah, because her turn meter rewind is great. She does get, I think, 200% resistance because of Coulson, so it's like impossible to control her.
Juicy, he has a thing for Val. I can't help it. I'm glad that he's like open to everybody, but I would also agree. Like I don't think they belong in B because they're literally a raid character.
But they are the raid team, though. Without Val,
Yeah,
nothing. All right, okay. We're done with Val, okay? She's staying there. I can only fight off so many people in the comment section if I put Val lower, okay? All right.
Wait to see these YouTube comments.
All right, Mockingbird. You think all the way up here. I think she's the best C character. Where's our middle ground? You're like, there is no middle ground? Put the married couple
I just
beside
think
each other?
Mockingbird and Ronan are the same.
You think they have the same value?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. I'm getting run over and everything. I'm going to just go with yours. This is a Scotty tier list. No, that's not true. Lady Deathstrike.
No, because Val is not where I would put Val.
True. Lady Deathstrike. I really like her. 127 speed with a turn meter rewind. But the turn meter rewind plus the bleeds and all that, that's nowhere near as powerful as like a Spider-Woman ability block or a Photon blind, especially because it's not unblockable. So, she's great. She's definitely the second one to do in the Weapon X team to keep that team super viable. She's a cheap option. She's good in Dark Dimension 6. 127 speed with a turn meter rewind will make her valuable in Tower. She's a villain, but there's so many better villains than her. Not really any kind of Scourge or trial use there. I'm comfortable leaving her D tier. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Kang. I don't think he's S tier. I mean, the conversation is S or A tier. I don't think he's S tier. What do you think? He's definitely, he's either going to be the best of A tier or the worst of S tier, is what it comes down to.
It's just like if we make him S tier, I feel like Quicksilver needs to be S tier. I feel like Nova needs to be S tier. Probably move Kestrel into S tier. Like as we do this, it just kind of changes my thought on them.
Yeah. I'm kind of thinking, I kind of think Kang goes here. Do you think Kang is better or worse than Quicksilver? Because I'm open to that conversation. I think that's an interesting conversation too.
They have such different.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Kang equals Quicksilver, like basically.
Yeah, it's really close. So the argument would be that Kang does more for his team. Whatever team he's on, he's also increasing what the other people do. Whereas Quicksilver, he does what he does for himself. Now, the turn meter rewind, you could say that also helps a character like Doom go before someone who could have stopped Doom from going boom and stuff like that. But I think Kang with the slows, the turn meter rewind, the speed bar he's given on spawn, I think he's doing more for his team. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, where were we?
Like I would move Kang up to S. I would move Quicksilver up to S.
You think so?
Yeah, and then I'd probably put. I don't know. I would at least put Kang and Quicksilver up there, for sure on S.
Okay, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Like, if we were being like super intellectually honest about it, it would be like this for me. As far as characters that stand above everybody else, it would be Skrull and Apocalypse, and that would be an S tier for me. But if we're going to include Black Cat here,
this is not for Dark Dimension specifically, because someone's now asking about separating in a global city. Because if this was DD6 specifically, we'd be having a much different conversation.
Yeah. This is for like characters to bring up to gear tier 18, ISO 5, as much red stars as you can possibly get on them for value everywhere in the game. So here's the thing: if we want to include Black Cat on S tier, then I'm good with including the other two. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, where did that leave us off? Oh, Hard Light. This is an interesting one. I'm going to put Hard Light where I think she belongs, and you react. How about that? What do you think?
Ooh.
Like, don't get me wrong. She is a no-brainer for Gear Tier 18 and ISO 5, strictly because she's an arena character and because she's a city mutant character that's really cheap. But if she didn't have that Dark Dimension 6 tag, I would not have rushed her to Gear Tier 18 the way I did. Like, she does a really nice Terminator Rewind, then she taunts, and then in 90% of the matchups you're using her in, she gets stunned and she does nothing else after that. Otherwise, if you're using her in a different sort of match, she does her thing, and then Robbie Reyes and Black Cat kill everybody before she does anything else anyway. She's there to pull the Apocalypse ultimate, and then the punch. Like, you want her big so she can survive the ult, and survive whatever damage came before it, and then eat the ultimate, and that's it. So the argument Black Guru is given is that she is the best tank in the game on the best team. You're right. But she does one ability and then she dies. What do you think, Scotty? We're having a million opinions from chat, but not from the one person who I want to hear it from.
Well, I'm just digesting because, like, it's just as we like put more things up here, I just want to almost move things.
We will at the end. We will have a secondary opinion after this.
Like, this is nowhere final. We're just kind of putting things, and then things are going to shift around, I think, as I like. You're a silly goose. You're a silly goose. You're a silly goose.
So, are we okay with C for now, or do you have a case?
Yeah.
You're good.
I think in my mind, I'm like looking at moving Spider-Woman down now, Ronin and Mockingbird down into like the C tier. Okay. Because they're all kind of like similar to me now.
Okay, well let's finish this part first, and we'll go from there. Because I think we're about to populate the C list, and we'll have a better idea of the difference between C and D. Yep. Icarus. You didn't even want to put Icarus up on here. I had to twist your arm to put Icarus up on here. I had to scream about his use in Cosmic Crucible. You said in War, he's kind of only taking out the old teams anyway. I was like, he's got 500% focus on his ultimate, and it does flips, and if he gets a double tap, blah, 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 blah. And you were like, fine, just throw him up there. Where do you want Icarus? And just remember, the YouTube comments don't just yell at me. They yell at you too. D tier? D tier, Scott? This is worse than your Kestrel take.
He wouldn't even be on there if it were free.
All right, moving on. Hela. Hela is a great character. She's on a good team, or what will be a great team. She needs to survive, so this is the main reason why she's up here, right? She already has insane focus on her ultimate. The gear tier really helps her survive. She can do perma kills, but where do you think she falls into this this tier list? I kind of don't know with her.
I don't know because I don't know how this team is going to be with the zombie juggernaut. So like you have a bit more thought than I do, I think.
I think she is a consideration to max out. I would leave her D tier. I would definitely do Icarus first. I think she should go. If Icarus is D, then she's definitely D, is how I would phrase this. Because her surviving is great. The Gear Tier 18, the damage that it gives to her isn't as impactful. The life, like the benefit you get from life in Gear Tier 18 isn't the same as damage. So if Icarus is D tier, I think she's got to stay there too. Robbie Reyes. I would agree. Yeah. Robbie Reyes. Like, super amazing character.
He's so good.
It caught everyone off guard. How amazing his damage! A 5 red, 5 yellow Robbie Reyes is killing Apocalypse before he gets a turn.
I would put him S.
I kind of would too. He is, and we're kind of trying to avoid ranking off Dark Dimension whatsoever, but his value in Dark Dimension kind of highlighted what his value is everywhere. We're seeing a lot of A's. I'm seeing a B. I'm seeing Pathfinder, seeing S+. I think if you have 7 red stars, 7 yellow star Robbie Reyes, you would be calling him the 3rd best character in the game. The amount of damage he does.
Like, I don't, and it's not just, this once again isn't just like how great the character it is, but how impactful they are at Gear Tier 18 ISO 5. And I think him at Gear Tier 18 ISO 5, like doing his passive, like him and Black Cat, like in Arena and in War, NCC, they are the ones like just slapping people around. Like, I think she is still above him, but I would put him on S tier.
Okay.
In my opinion.
And for whatever it's worth, I had Robbie Reyes slotted as a raider so that he could activate Black Cat. After using him and playing with him and now having Skrull, who I made as a raider, I'm switching Robbie to a striker as soon as I can for that bleed damage. Because it's very impactful. And I needed the ISOs. Skrull puts so many vulnerables out, which is amazing. But I'll be making him a striker now. Now, I guess the question is, where does he fall here? Because with the speed bar that he gains on whatever team he's on, he could jump before a lot of characters that are way faster than him. And then he can control them with ability block and defense down and stealing all their buffs and everything. Where does he go here? I kind of... You just said... I think he's better than Black Cat myself, but where do you think he goes here?
And I weight him high because in Arena, a big Robbie just will fucking fuck you in that. And he's not being replaced even when you have Skrull and APOC. Like, he's still there. Mm-hmm. So, once again, this is not a character tier list. It is the benefit of having them at Gear Tier 18 ISO 5. And I feel like him with Arena, War, and CC, he makes sense as an S. I would probably put him between Kang and Black Cat, to be honest. But
okay, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I do think Black Cat having extra damage and like not falling into her death proofs too quickly is very important. So I'm good with that. Pathfinder's talking about Black Cat maybe being rated too high. I can see why some people are done on Black Cat. She's so fast with a turn 1 stun trauma and so much damage from those bleeds. And then she is so hard to kill with those death proofs. But, okay. Okay. Gamora. Yeah, we're starting to get into the bottom of the barrel here with the rest of this list.
D.
B?
D.
D, okay, D. Yeah, D, for sure. Okay. Gambit. Look, having a really big Gambit could be the difference just in your Unlimited getting completely walked over, and your Unlimited getting completely walked over, but Gambit stealing 2 or 3 efficiency points from the enemy before it happens. So if you're super competitive in Crucible, I think Gambit's value skyrockets. And if not, then I think it doesn't. Where do you think you would put Gambit here? I'm thinking C myself, from a competitive standpoint.
Yeah, I like C.
Okay. Firestar is a lot of the same conversation we just had about Gambit, except on the offensive side, so it's way more fun. Her ultimate rips people apart. Useless in War, though. So is Gambit, right? Useless in War. So here's the thing. In the new Warrior team, if you can get a quick kill, first of all, it'll activate Death Pool to kind of help you snowball a bit, but also that energy that could potentially go to Dagger can be the difference between beating the enemy turn 1, and so beating the enemy in 5 turns or beating the enemy in 10 turns could be the difference maker there. I'm comfortable putting her on even footing with Gambit here. What do you think?
I don't know. I'd put her D. You were the one that loves her so much.
Her damage is just insane. Her damage on her turn 1, who would I equate it to on this list? I would equate the value of the damage she brings on her turn 1 equal to that of Kestrel's special. I've lost you. You completely disagree.
I think of it as the benefit of moving her from 17 to 18 with that gear for one game mode.
No, well, no,
where I don't know
defense.
if she.
We're defense for now, right? Like in 3 months from now, we'll probably have so many teams on war defense that new warriors won't even be sniffing that. But if you build up a big new warriors for Crucible offense, they do flex to war defense good enough because people take stupid matches into that.
Yeah.
All right, I'll leave it D. I'll leave it D. Chat's turning on me. If Twitch chat is turning on me, I don't want to know.
Well, everyone is thinking this is a character tier list, and I'm thinking of it as the benefit of putting 18 ISO 5 on them.
This is
versus do they do their job without it?
So this is gonna be this tier list. It's what you're thinking of. If you put gear tier 18 on this character, how much is that going to shore up the matches you use them in? Will it increase the potential to do different things with them? And yeah, this is not like a tier list of who's the best character. That's why like putting gear tier 18 on Skrull is so much better than putting gear tier 18 on Kang, because Skrull is going to do so much more damage with that gear tier 18 than Kang does. Anyway, continuing on. Ebony Maw, D tier, right? Yeah.
And like last of the D tier.
Yeah, exactly.
You are rolling in Mystic Gear tier 18, and you just need something to use it on.
Exactly. Okay, I'm just gonna throw Cull down here too before we even decide to talk about him. Not Thanos. Dormammu.
I would go Cull, Thanos, Maw.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay, there we go. Dormammu.
Just because a big Cull can really
Stone
depending on what you're using, hold you up.
Yeah. Dormammu. Very, very expensive character. He could be on the verge of getting the Doom treatment, where his damage stops mattering as much as the mechanics he brings, like the flipping buffs, like the stun, and the ultimate right now, which is his biggest source of damage, right? That's where the gear tier 18 affects him the most, will eventually just become a mechanic check. Like, the world where we start putting Skirmisher on Dormammu isn't too far, but as of right now, putting extra damage on him is huge. Yes, Path. Like, give him.
I mean, he is almost like a T4 at this point. Like, he's a passive T4. Yes, he has a stun. Yes, his ult is great, but there are a lot of teams that counter him now.
Yes.
And once again, this is not a tier list. This is does he benefit from going 17 to 18 and going to ISO 5 in what you're using him for?
Yeah, so this is how I would present this to you.
When he's really expensive as well.
Yes, he's very expensive. But if your Dormammu hits that ultimate, or sorry, that special, and then he starts flipping those buffs, and if he can survive to his ultimate, it's like a juiced up Cloak and Dagger ultimate, right? It does so much damage. It covers you in debuffs, so he needs the focus to land all that stuff. And then his basic, and it's all unavoidable stuff too, right? So it's just raw damage on the enemy. I definitely see value bringing Dormammu from gear tier 17 to 18 on the damage stat. The problem is there's a expiry date on that, given how quickly the meta is evolving. And he's DPCs, so I mean it's a big investment to get him up there. I cannot put him below C tier though.
Oh no, I'm just debating A or B.
Okay.
Like, I still view him as an A tier. At the same time, I've not even been like, oh, I need to gear tier 18 my Dormammu. Like, I did not take him to Dark Dimension 6, and I don't use him in a team where I'm currently like, oh, I really wish he was gear tier 18. I guess is still how I think about him.
Okay.
Because like if this was a tier list, I would put him very high. But is he worth gear tier 18ing?
So, in looking at everybody else that's currently in the A tier, I don't think he belongs there. I think he would belong in the head of the pack of B tier. What do you think?
I just don't understand how Kestrel's better than Dormammu.
Bro, Kestrel is so much better than Dormammu. So why do you want Kestrel gear tier 18? First of all, Dark Dimension 6, of course. She's just an easy cosmic pick, right? She's cheap. But then you have the raids. She's going to be like Val, where she is the main damage for the majority of players in the game who don't buy stars for the other characters. And then, I don't know how you haven't seen her 1.6 million pings yet. Why haven't you seen those yet? You don't watch my videos. She wrecks people with that damage, and that gear tier 18 damage bump is so incredibly huge for her. She's the glass cannon that they just covered in steel as well with that rework.
Okay.
We'll fight about this in the YouTube comments chat. The doggo Cosmo. Man, I kind of want to drop him off the list after this conversation we've been having, but
no, he's still in the D for me just because. But I mean, a lot of my thoughts are because of War and New Avengers, and that's why to me, like, they go a little bit higher, but they're also like deadly on CC defense too, which is just like when I'm thinking of new things and the benefit of making them bigger, they fuck so hard. It's not that they are a better character than Omega Red, but just in what they're currently being used for as far as defense in War and CC, them being bigger just wrecks people.
Mm-hmm.
And this is me on the other side, once again, sitting there with my Nova going, do I get to go soon?
All right, so you're comfortable. Okay, I'm okay with leaving him D. Looking at the other characters on this list, like, I would definitely rather have Gear Tier 18 on my Cosmo than my Rescue. So if these characters are making the list because of that importance, then fine. And then, yeah, so a lot of this is going to be very determinant on what modes you value too. Black Widow. Do we take her off? What do we do with Black Widow?
Well, I don't see Black Widow here, and I don't see Doom.
Black Widow's right here. Yeah, we didn't put
like,
Doom
where
on the
Doom
list.
at?
We didn't put him on the list.
We didn't talk about him, I don't think.
Oh,
we know we did. I said,
yeah.
I mean, he could be D tier. It's just for me, making him bigger is actually sometimes worse because he doesn't get pushed.
Yeah, exactly. So if we have him on this list for what the Gear Tier 18 does for him, it's his damage, right? Because making him too big, like you said, actively hurts him in the health department. So Gear Tier 18 could actually be a detriment to him. Where it's going to change is when the new progression systems come in and Doom is then getting one shot. And then you're going to be like, okay, now giving him the extra health from Gear Tier 18 would be an active good. So he's a very fickle character because he is a mechanic character. You want to push to 50, you then want him to take his turn and bring your actual good character for the ride. So I'm comfortable making him this on this list as a D tier because it is going to be account specific and the competition that you face. Because if your Doom is too small, gets one shot, useless. If your Doom is too big and doesn't get pushed, also useless. So let's bring Doom back up here. We'll put him on the D tier. Black Widow. She doesn't need focus to land her ultimate. She gets focus for that.
I don't think she should be there anymore.
Yeah, I don't think she should be there anymore. Okay, I'm glad.
Like, this isn't a DD6 talk, because, like, I don't regret taking her to DD6, but if I hadn't taken her to DD6, I would not have even thought about Gear Tier 18ing her.
Right. All right, and then finally, we got Beta Ray Bill. So Beta Ray Bill, really important member of that Bifrost team, especially in Crucible right now. Like, getting him to Gear Tier 18, like, everything's going right for you. You got the abilities to land on Sylvie. You killed her. You even killed Val. And then Beta Ray Bill hits you with an ultimate and your entire team dies. But that Crucible room is going away. So the value of putting on him is greatly diminished in Crucible because he's such a slow character, and outside of those raid rules, they're going to get demolished, right? In the raid itself, we don't know what's going to be needed in the next tier. What we do know is in the current tier, Beta Ray Bill is not needed to be super big. Like, by the time he's dead from all the death proofs and dodges that he's getting, your Val can ult and bring everybody back. Where do we put Beta Ray Bill? Does he still make this list after this talk to you?
I don't feel like I put him on that list.
Okay. Let's take him off. I'm good with taking him off. After we've talked about the other characters here, I'm good taking him off. Let's now readjust this list as far as importance goes. Skrull Apocalypse, I don't think we're going to fight about this. They still belong in the 1 and 2 position, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. These 4. The position that they're in right now, I am okay with. I am okay with saying that having Robbie Reyes at Gear Tier 18 to wreck face in Arena is better than having Gear Tier 18 on Kang for the Infestation match in War, or for when he's punching down in Crucible into Unlimited. The argument would be Kang at Gear Tier 18 is really good when you're trying to beat an enemy Skrull in Crucible. That's where Kang's real benefit lays. In Raids, Kang is getting phased out, so he's not really benefiting there. Robbie Reyes and I'm okay with putting Robbie Reyes ahead of Kang, and for all the same reasons, I'm okay with putting Robbie Reyes ahead of Quicksilver. Where are you at?
I'm just like looking at B and like thinking like maybe Omega after MLF.
Okay. Let's I'll do that right now. Let's go like vertical. Let's go vertical. Right. No, I know. I might get too when I think of something I don't want to forget it. So you're good with S tier in its entirety? All right. A tier, you're kind of taking my word on Zombie Juggernaut because you didn't really get to play it, right? I'll say that in Crucible, if you don't have a giant iron Zombie Juggernaut, you're just going to die immediately. He's going to do nothing. And in War, the difference between having a baby Zombie Juggernaut and a big Zombie Juggernaut was the difference in taking out Skrull teams or not taking out Skrull teams. That's why I have him rated as high as I do. So maybe you can leave a question mark like that so when people see it, they can get it. Red Hulk. I'm still comfortable having Red Hulk there. He's the heart and soul of the Gamma team. Really good in War. I do think he's going to eventually plug and play with Apocalypse, but unlike 2099, Red Hulk's damage is good enough to have him big. That Gear Tier 18 will benefit him that much. You good with him there?
Yeah, I think for Zombie Juggernaut, a lot of it is like a lot of people aren't going to have him at high stars. So I think having him at Gear Tier 18 is going to become more important for people because that's how he's going to survive because he'll be small.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I think with Red Hulk, I don't know. I just don't like him there.
Okay.
I would at least move him to the end.
Okay, after Kestrel. Now you're learning. I get it. Now you're learning. Kestrel's the best.
Kestrel wouldn't be there if it was up to me, but she's there, so I live with it.
Tigra, look, a lot of you are not going to get this because you haven't experienced the giantness of Tigra and her insane damage. I'm very comfortable having Tigra there right now. What about you?
He just fucks. So like it's just we just had a war with Mumbas, so like I am feeling things after that because I really thought my Nowhere, which was punching down, was about to lose, and I would have to like eat the memes for days.
Yeah.
But she's just wrecking me around, and like I couldn't get through her, and like in CC, and I mean I also factoring in like she's gonna be for a legendary event too. That's another reason I'm kind of thinking new Avengers. It's not just War and CC, but there's gonna be a legendary event too.
Yeah.
And I feel like in Tower they're gonna wreck as a team for you too if they're doing that well in CC.
100% because she's a 126 plus 15% base speed.
Yeah.
Like that's a very fast team, and speed is the name of the game when it comes to Tower. Yeah.
And she's going to be small for a lot of people because her event is terrible and doesn't give many yellows. So, like, people are going to probably want to Gear Tier 18 her just to make her bigger anyway for that reason.
Yeah, I agree there.
So I like A. I think I'm good with A.
You're good with A the way it is now? Let me take a quick look.
Yeah.
Nova Weaver, the problem is she comes with trauma stun, he comes with just stun. His battlefield effect is good. His damage is way better than her for sure. Mechanically, she's far more interesting than him outside of the mode. But he is needed for the Black Cat, and he is the heart and soul of his team, so having him bigger really helps there. Okay, I'm good with it. I just really wish I could do this, though. But okay, I'm good with it. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. All right, B tier. Let's talk about it, because this is where... What?
I saw you drag it. Sorry, it's on a delay, so I saw Kestrel suddenly move.
There. Oh, I didn't... hold on. I never did the projector for you. My bad. When I reset the OBS...
Well, I didn't know if I was maybe making it lag, so then...
Oh, here,
it was probably...
Let's find out. It's all right. It's already an hour-long conversation. If we put both of these conversations in, we would have had a 2-hour video. All right. Share screen. Projector. There you go. Now it's live. All right, Twitch chat, let me know if the frames just go straight to the shader now. All right, so now you see it live, Scotty?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, B tier. This was a very contentious one. I'm seeing Jutsi just light me up in chat saying this is just where all my favorite characters are going. I don't see Hawkeye here, so that's fact-checked false. But anyway, I'm good with Dormammu leading this pack for sure. I feel a way about Morgan Le Fay, but against the rest of the competition, I'm okay with it. You wanted Omega Red moved up here. I don't agree with that. So let's okay, well, no. If we look about Gear Tier 18, he's a no-brainer for Dark Dimension 6. So it just makes sense to do that from that perspective. But on his team, the impact that it brings, he starts one-shotting people in war. He starts actually landing his debuffs in Crucible. He lives to do percentage and drain. Yeah, Omega Red definitely building up on me. Man, I have such a hard time putting Val below Omega Red right now.
Val and Omega Red meet in war. Who wins?
Omega Red.
Val and Omega Red meet in CC without this stupid room 2. Who wins?
Val.
In CC without room 2?
Yeah, she does a 100. She does 127 speed with a ability block. She ability blocks Omega Red, and then the rest of her team just build a treasure. Omega Red at 120 speed in war is a sitting duck. He needs his team around him. You would say the same thing about Val, except that she is at least faster, so she doesn't need as much protection in CC. Now, the argument would then be Val's turn 2 is very rarely going to be her ultimate, or Omega Red's turn 2 is going to be his ultimate, turn meter rewind, an additional ability block, and buff flips.
He's got a thing for Val, guys. I cannot talk.
All right, look, if I'm on an island here, I just think 127 speed with an opening turn meter or opening ability block is really powerful. And then the exposed feature, like, she is getting benefits from that as well. But fine. It is what it is. Fine. Ronin Gear Tier 18. We talked about the legendary event coming that'll help you push. In CC, because they are losing a lot of war stuff, if you want this team on defense, you do want to have like at least Tigra and one more built super high for the big time damage. And in war, a big Ronin, a Gear Tier 18 Ronin, under the right circumstances, he will destroy your Nova, or destroy your Cosmo, or destroy your Thor Infinity War. So I really like Ronin. I'm comfortable with him being here based on my experience with him so far. But if we're saying that Val is nowhere near the same as Omega Red, then I would say Ronin is better than Val. What do you think?
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. I think you're crazy with your Mockingbird take. I don't think... So here's the thing. In the Scourge, it'll be nice to have her doing more heals, which will happen from her having more health. I just don't think her damage is as impacted as a character like Ronin's is from the Gear Tier 18. Like, I don't think she benefits from it the same as he does.
Then we can go see for her.
We can go see for her? Okay, I'm more comfortable with that.
Yeah.
She does do good damage, don't get me wrong, and she hits everybody. But she is very, very kit-based. Thor Infinity War. He demolishes the new Avenger team if he gets a turn. If he gets a turn, he demolishes the new Avenger team. He's amazing in the Black Cat trial. He's fucking garbage in Crucible, no matter how big you have him. Okay, so are we comfortable with Thor Infinity War where he is right now? He's also super slow, so him ever actually getting a turn to benefit from that gear tier is always in question.
Yeah, for me, it's once again not that he's a better character than like even Hardlight. It is just that for his use, especially in war, to do what he's gonna have to do, he needs to survive and he needs to wreck. And so him being stronger can help him survive and then also help you take out whatever team it is. And it's not even just new Avengers, because if they weren't, there, we were already wanting a big one for Gamma Apox, because the same type of thing would happen. Like he needs to be big to really do his job. So that is just the way I'm thinking of it, is he benefits more by being so big, as he's not going to die and he'll get to actually like do his job.
Fair enough. I see a question from Jutsi about how long before we pull Nova off the team and use him plug and play. In War, never, because he loses per speed bar for every member you take off. You might take one member off for a character like Dormammu, but you'll never take more than 2 off. Would be asinine.
But don't put him with Chavez, because that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, don't put him with Chavez. That literally it works against you. All right, so Spider-Woman and Photon. I'm getting a lot of flack saying that this is just bias. I don't think you guys have played with a Gear Tier 18 Spider-Woman in War. The amount of damage her special does, and her landing that ability block, yes, she gets 100% focus, but when you're using her against Darkhold, where they gain 100% resistance, it becomes a wash. So her having the higher Gear Tier really helps her land those debuffs, really ups her damage. I'm telling you, you're sleeping on Spider-Woman if you haven't seen her use at high levels yet. Okay, you've seen me use Spider-Woman. I don't think you brought her up. Did you, at any point after getting Biogear, think Spider-Woman's next?
I would have Spider-Woman and Photon in C.
Fine. To appease the YouTube and the Twitch mob, I'll move Spider-Woman to C. Photon to C. To me, she's the exact same character as Spider-Woman, but does blind instead of ability block. So I'm good with it. She does percentile damage on the basic too. She does. So here's the thing. She does go back to Secret Defenders and Crucible, where she becomes a problem though. So having her a Gear Tier 18 is great in War with the P-Force team, and it's great with Secret Defenders in Crucible. Whereas Spider-Woman in Crucible, I'll admit at least this much. She is niche in Crucible, but super useful to have her there. Photon isn't niche in Crucible. She's just always there. Right?
I mean, I like Photon over Spider-Woman. I just didn't think you would let me get Spider-Woman down to C without taking Photon down to C.
No, I'm good. I'm good putting Photon back up to B because of the Crucible use.
Okay. All right. Because it is more game modes. Like Spider-Woman, mostly War, maybe a little bit in CC, versus Photon, like CC, War, and some arenas.
Okay. So then does this then beg the question, at 128 speed, does she outclass anybody else on this list? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say, like, where I'm using Photon, if I'm needing Photon to be Gear Tier 18 because Robbie Reyes and Black Cat are no longer Gear Tier 18, then I'm probably facing people where I also need all these characters to be bigger than her to do what they need to do in their matches too. Photon over Thor. Y'all haven't faced the new Avengers yet.
Yeah, but people are. I guess it's more like people are using Photon more as well for
Fine.
stuff.
Fine. I don't like it, but fine. Let's move on to C tier.
Well, we see different wars than other people.
True. That's true.
Our view is a little bit jaded after what we just faced.
Fine. All right, and finally, C tier. Well, not finally, but moving on to C tier, where I'm going to catch the most flack. The Miss Marvel. All right, chat, get it out now. Dorky's dumb for putting her there. She just needs to be big enough in the arena match to eat the Apocalypse Ultimate and the Empowered Punch. That's all she needs. In Crucible, it's going to be the exact same thing. In War, it's either going to be the exact same thing, or you're using her in a completely different matchup where it doesn't really matter. I don't think Miss Marvel is better than anybody in the B tier in any stretch or imagination. You tell me, Scotty.
I think she's good in C.
Okay. Fine. We'll leave her there. Good. I'm happy with that. Gambit. All right. Gambit at Gear Tier 18 absolutely changes the way the team operates in Crucible under the current system. In the current room rules too. I'm fine having him there. He's like a pure damage character that's doing damage at every turn, so the Gear Tier 18 really works wonders on him. And having Raider 5 really helps him too. I'm just good with him being there. Yeah, what do you think about Gambit?
I'd put him D.
You'd put him D tier. Mm-hmm. You are subconsciously telling me that you would put Spider-Woman D tier too. You know that, right? You are subconsciously telling me that Spider-Woman
I can tell you I have not Gear Tier 18 Spider-Woman, and I don't plan on anytime soon. And if I go in that account and I find that she is suddenly Gear Tier 18, I'm going to know who did it.
Well, Merry Christmas. I will make this concession to you. I will not take Gambit down. Okay? You have whittled my heart and soul down to putting Spider-Woman in the D tier. I hope that's good enough for you.
I see her as D. I see that more.
Fine. Okay, fine.
I don't think Gambit's C, but okay.
Okay. Is Gambit better than Mockingbird at higher Gear tier? He impacts the outcome of the matches in Crucible more than Mockingbird would impact the outcome of the matches in War. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, but I think have you taken an Unlimited X-Men versus a secret New Avengers? Yeah.
In Crucible?
PC?
I don't think I have.
Because one could argue, I think Unlimited would lose.
You think Unlimited loses to New Avengers? They might. They just might.
In their own game mode. So then I go, Gambit, really?
Yeah, he's a raid defense character. Shit. Well, when you put it that way, I'm just looking at the Gear Tier 18 would sap a lot of efficiency and help really hotly contested Crucible matches be closer. All right, I'll do this. We'll put him at the bottom of the C tier, depending on who comes up from D tier, if anybody. I will.
Gambit is a raid defense too. I love it.
I refuse to move Spider-Woman off the top of D tier. Okay, she is the best D tier character, and fuck you if you think otherwise. Okay, she's the goddamn best. Moving on to Cosmo. Where does Cosmo lane here? Probably pretty low in the D tier. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I'd put him above Black Order.
Yeah, for sure.
I would put him above Firestar.
We'll get there. Gamora. I think Gamora would rank probably middle of the pack here in the D tier. Higher than Cosmo. Lower than some of the others we're going to get to. What do you think?
Yeah.
Icarus should be C tier, in my opinion. That eye roll. I almost want to do a fucking Twitch poll right now and just let Twitch poll this shit. Icarus is
But
so
I
valuable.
don't need him to. I don't have him. Like, I'm not going to move him from 17 18 because he's not going to do a different job for me.
Yes, he will. He'll be more likely to get the double tap on the bigger war teams that you face and the bigger Crucible teams. He 100% will be more likely to get the double tap. His damage is still really good. If you're using him to take on, like, Gamma and use that special into the Red Hulk, who just has 100% block rate, that's a dead Red Hulk. Like, Icarus is hugely impacted by the stats from Gear Tier 18. I'm being asked we're doing a poll. We're doing a poll! We're polling it. We are trying to pay for our tuition. Alright, we got C, we got D. I'm even going to throw B up there. Let people go really crazy.
For who?
For Icarus.
For who?
For Icarus. We're letting the poll
Let's
come
do
in.
a poll on Gambit while we're doing it.
Yeah, we could do a poll on Gambit too. Just don't do a poll on Spider-Woman. Just don't do a poll on Spider-Woman, okay?
Current poll, Icarus. This is not a tier list. This is a will they benefit from 17 to 18.
Yes, and I that's exactly right. And I am 100% in my mind saying Gear Tier 18 Icarus with ISO 5, that's 20% damage on top of another 20% damage, is so much more likely to get those double flips, or sorry, the double taps, as well as just so much more damage. Also, this is the most engaged poll I've ever had, by the way. So people feel very strongly about this. 40% of meh is still kind of meh. It's not meh. It's not. All right, so you want to do Gambit? We'll do Gambit. Gambit.
We should have done this the whole time. It's just going to make the video very long.
D, C... I'll put B for Gambit too, but no one's going to vote for that. All right, Gambit's up next. You decide, because these are the two we're most hotly contested on.
Who said B?
The trolls. The trolls.
I'm reporting this poll.
People, wow, it's really close with B and C and D. Really close. Oh, D took over. Do hard light next. You know what I'll do if I do hard light red? It'll be C and D, and that'll be it.
I feel like if the 6 people who voted B voted more reasonably, the D and C would be not as close.
D tier it is, I guess. He's not going ahead of Spider-Woman.
Well,
he's not going ahead of Spider-Woman. Fuck, we'll do hard light. We're not doing all of them. We're not doing all of them. We're just doing a couple of them. Alright, hard light. Listen, I'm putting A up there. If you guys vote for A, I'm just ending the stream. Just so you know. I'm not gonna be trolled here, okay? Guys, I'm not putting her A tier. It's not happening. The info has to also make sense. It's not happening. Y'all need to get your fucking votes straight. I was full capping about ending the stream. Okay, you know what? Throw your votes away. I'm just gonna pretend that the A class doesn't exist, and I will take the B, C, or D option. Throw your votes away. Vote Green Party in Canada. Nobody cares. Fucking neckbeards.
oh my god. This got political very quickly.
What is that sound? Oh, it's the stream. Chat never lies. Chat smoked a lot of crack this morning. That's what they did. Alright, C tier it is. I'm not putting her A tier. There's no shot You look at Hardlight, and you think Juggernaut, Tigra, Nova, Weaver, Kestrel, or Red Hulk level. There's no way you say, like, I would want to put Gear Tier 18 on Hardlight before Gear Tier 18 on Red Hulk. There's no shot. There's no shot. She's no shot. It's not.
So a Weaver meets a Kestrel.
Yes. Go ahead.
Because everyone wants Kestrel ahead of Weaver. So a Weaver meets a Kestrel in war. Who wins?
In a one, okay, well, 1-on-1's not fair because of the mechanics.
So Tangled Web, just the three of them meet the Pegasus team.
Okay, still not fair. No, so the reason it's not fair is because you are leaning into her getting energy and speed bar every single time one of them gets hit. But you can't just bring in 3 Tangled Web on board defense. You have to at least put the 2 other people in. Kestrel came out? What do you mean Kestrel came out? Oh. This entire list is about solo viability, 1 versus 1. This list better not be associated with their team included. No, this list is the impact that having the character at Gear Tier 18 does in the matches you use her in. This is not a 1v1 face-off match. This is if you put Kestrel on a team with a bunch of characters and you put defense down on Weaver, and then Kestrel will one-shot ping Weaver to death. All right, Hardlight still got C. Thank God. All right. Jesus Christ. Where's Hela go? I think Hela's low D tier. Right? Hela's low D tier?
Yeah, I just don't know if she benefits much from being Gear Tier 18.
Yeah, I think she's like just after Black Order.
Let you know in a little bit.
Oh, you're about to do it? Or you're just waiting for the
No. I just like for the team and like what we use them for. If I'm ever like, man, I wish this Hela was bigger.
Honestly, this tier list needs to be more clearly defined. It will be in the thumbnail. We will clearly define what is in the thumbnail. And then everybody watching this hour-long thing where Twitch chat keeps making me do stupid shit, they're going to know. They're all going to know. Lady Deathstrike.
Hela comes off D. When was she on D?
He means off the list. He means that she's not a Gear 18 kind of character. Speaking of probably not making this list anymore, I'm kind of souring on Lady Deathstrike being a Gear Tier 18. Like how much value that brings. You're good with it too?
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nick Fury, I do still think makes this list. His minions do benefit from him being bigger. You would think that Fury's like pure mechanics, but no, like he needs to live. He spreads his buffs. His minions hit harder. They tank better when he's bigger. I'm very comfortable keeping Fury still in D and high D at that. What do you think?
Yeah, he's got a high D for sure.
Jesus Christ, Scotty, relax. Rescue. Right now, hugely impactful because without the 5-piece, your team is dying. She needs to live to bring them back up in raids 100%. When Ironheart drops next week or whenever it's going to be, it's just not necessary. And we don't know if it'll be necessary come the next raid tier. But she's a very cheap character, so she can be used in Dark Dimension. She'll help you there. In War Crucible, this team does not exist. It's all raids. If we go by your logic before, I'm telling you that it won't make sense to have her at Gear Tier 18 unless it's necessary for the next raids. Does that make you want to keep her on this list or no? No, take her off.
I only said it because of the 4-piece, and then you told me that it won't matter when I have a 5-piece. But then we kept her. But I feel like we should get rid of her.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. When you have Ironheart gives the entire team 75% speed bar. Then the enemy team does not take a turn. Yeah. Spider-Man 2099. Like I wanted Spider-Man 2099 to be at least C tier. With his speed, the defense down, I feel like, and his bleed damage is actually not bad. So I do think the Gear Tier 18 helps his damage. The most important thing, though, is just to him to land those debuffs. And he doesn't have enough focus to do that built into his kit. So I think the gear really helps him there. But you strongly disagree. Which I get why you would, because against the Infestation team, like, you're not landing any of that stuff anyway. It's really just mechanical to make Weaver go first in that sense. So I understand why you're not super hot. Also, you used him in Dark Dimension 6, and he's a stinker in Dark Dimension 6.
Whoa. Don't say that. I don't need Jex in my DMs. He's fine.
He's fine. Okay. Red is screaming for a poll on this one. Are you okay with letting the mob use their very low intellect in picking this for us?
No, because they're fucking trolls. Did you see what they just did with Hardlight?
I did. I did. Just put S on the pool. 29 seems good in D tier. All right, I'm gonna do it. We may or may not take your.
Does he benefit?
What,
by going to 18? Does he do anything different?
Lands his debuffs. That's the big thing. If he doesn't land his defense down and slow, it could really affect matches in a very negative way.
High D is
okay.
My final answer.
High D. Nakia. I'm still comfortable having her. Like, Lady Death Strike got kicked off, but I'm still comfortable having Nakia here because those pings are really, really big match changers. Where do you think she would fall here? She would definitely be low D tier, right? But I think she would be probably still ahead of Cosmo. Maybe below Gamora. What do you think?
I definitely have her above Firestar. I would have her above Gamora. Like, I would basically leave her there. I would move Shang away and Nico away.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. We're going all the way through the list.
No, but I would leave Nakia next to 29.9.
Okay, I'll move them all here for now. Okay, let's go backwards then. So Firestar, where would Firestar fall on this list? I would say off the list. She would not go off the list. I'm telling you, Firestar is really good damage. Having Gear Tier 18 on her is so much more damage. I would put her in between Cosmo and Gamora.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. Nico. I would take Nico off the list. Okay. That hurt.
I agree.
That hurt. Fine. Shang-Chi. He'd be really low on the D list for me. I understand why people still like him. I understand he's a nice, like, trap card in war if you have everybody else at, like, Gear Tier 13, but then a Gear Tier 18 Chi and they don't notice it. He can come in and just smash people. In Crucible, he's got the 120 speed, so he does suffer from that, but he does have the 10% Turbine Rewind if he does get to do his turn. I have benefited from having a big Shang-Chi when I faced nowhere in Crucible, and he could rewind them so the Eternals lap them. And he does just insane damage. I could see the case for and against Shang-Chi to even be on this list. What do you think?
I almost feel like he falls off the list, but bottom for sure.
Bottom for sure. Yeah, he's definitely straddling that line. He's definitely straddling that line. I'm gonna move him over the Black Order for now, and then we'll see if we want to start cutting people off. Doom. Okay.
Well, I would have him after Black Order.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But would you also say that if you're going to do one Black Order, you have to do all of them? Because, like, having just one Black Order at Gear Tier 18, even if it's just Kull or just Thanos, I don't think that elevates the team to do things they couldn't already do. I think you need to have more. What do you think?
I mean, Kull's the biggest one for me, just because you get stuck on him.
Yeah.
Then Thanos, because he's slapping you while you're stuck on Kull.
Mm-hmm.
Ma could be off for me.
Yeah, me too. We'll take Ma off. Okay, we're going to end this by doing 4 pulls. Okay? We're going to do Black Order, we're going to do Shang-Chi, we're going to do Doom. Because I feel like me and Scotty are both on the fence with these 4 characters for different reasons, yeah? Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Poll. Let's start with Shang-Chi, because I think he will be... Actually, I think Doom will be the most debated, but we'll see. Let's go off, D, I'll throw C up there, but it's not true. Yeah, you guys got to remember, Gear Tier 18 changes how teams operate.
Like, I think at 18, Cole just says, "Ha, nice."
Yeah, that tickled.
And then Thanos goes, "Oh, you doing something over there? Let me just flip some shit on you, and then I'm just gonna like ult ya. Enjoy."
Ooh, guys, we can't have it tied. Don't make me and Scotty be the tiebreaker. This is for Shang-Chi. D or off the list. I'm happy to see we all put our thinking caps on and no one voted C, by the way.
Someone did.
The second I said it, somebody did. And I bet it was Rich on Chips. Well.
Off the list.
Oh, damn, that exploded. Okay. All right, Shang-Chi off the list. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I think Big Time might even be over Shang-Chi. Big Time's all mechanics. I don't think putting Gear Tier 18 on him helps him in that regard. All right, Doom. B, C, D, and off. When you're thinking about Doom, guys, I want you to be very careful in remembering that, for the most part, his damage is irrelevant now. The main thing is you want him to survive to do his ultimate. You don't want him to get one shot. That's the two biggest things, right? The focus on Doom 2 is nice, true. The focus to make him flip things is very nice. Black Order can beat Bifrost in room 2 if you punch down 700k. I guess that's true. There's no cosmic villains, or sorry, no cosmic heroes in the Black Order team. There's no safeguard. I'm surprised you guys are putting Doom on a C tier, but the focus is nice. The focus is nice to land flips. Black Order is better than people think, but you need heavy investment.
And that's why they're on the D.
Yeah. So you got it, guys. So you got it by 5. It's pretty healthy margin. I'm not putting him ahead of Icarus, though. Scotty won't let me do a poll on Icarus, so he's not going ahead of Icarus. It's not happening. Go. Actually, let's do Thanos. Thanos first. D or off. There is no C option for this one, guys. Chat does prefer the D. Yeah, you don't want Doom to die before his turn, but you also want him to get pushed for his turn too. It's a very interesting balance act.
I think as people start to see some big BOs, they're gonna change their mindset on that, because
yeah, if you run into like a full, not even full, if you run into Gear Tier 18 Thanos and Gear Tier 18 Cull with the rest at Gear Tier 17, or even Gear Tier 18 on Corvus, I think you're gonna get smashed. You'd be like, what the hell happened?
well, it's gonna suck. And like in Tower, I bet they're not gonna be bad either. Jeez.
True. We don't need to Gear Tier 18 Black Order. You don't need to Gear Tier 18 anybody, but it's how it impacts those matches. Niche team. Is it a niche team, though, if it holds in War, Crucible, and is useful in Tower? Or does it become a mainstream meta team? All right, Thanos comes off. Cull is going to get butchered in this one.
We are in the D tier. Like, this isn't like a you must do it now, but like they would benefit from it.
Infinity Watch is better. I wonder about that. Towers right now is like 1 every 6 months. Yeah, but they were talking about this new tower and how it's going to be more often. Yeah, Cull's getting butchered. Is there anybody else here you think we need to pull besides Spider-Woman? Fuck, I'll do it. I'll do it. Just don't hurt me, guys. Don't hurt me, guys. Cersei on D? I don't think Cersei makes D tier. I don't think Cersei makes D tier. She's very kit-based now. Oh, I was definitely supposed to go see my wife a long time ago. Fuck. C, D, off. No, I was gonna put S as a joke.
I feel like this is too long a video. Like we should have like just did the video after we had them all sorted.
Possibly. We'll do an opening where I'll talk about how like I included the hour of it if you want to see the whole digestion of it. Otherwise, we just do a talk after this now. Come on, guys. Get those votes in. Get those votes in, guys. She is. If you've played a strong Spider-Woman, you know exactly how powerful she can be.
Saying C.
She is so good. We are adding all the C votes to the D column, by the way. Ragey Dirt says he's good with the Spider-Woman too. We are adding all the C votes to the D votes, okay? So if you voted C, don't worry. You are part of the good guys still. You are not troll voted at all. Okay. Whew, we did it. All right, we did it.
Thank God.
We did it, team.
Just move her down a bit.
Yeah. Just move her down. I don't think so. I think we're good there. We're good there, fam. All right, this was 2 hours. I'm going to hit stop record now. If you watched all the way to the end, thank you so much and have a great day. Scotty, you can wait bye now too. Bye. Okay.
Sorry, I'm delirious from this long video.
That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.